In today's video, we shall be talking about some uses of articles. These are definite article, the, and indefinite articles, a and n. And also we will be discussing some cases in which we shouldn't use any articles. In grammatical language, we call this zero article. Point number 1. A and n are used to refer to the job of a certain person. So when you talk about somebody's job, it is usual to use the indefinite articles a and n. Let me give you a couple of examples to demonstrate this. She was a company director when she retired. You see, the title here is company director. That's her job. So we use the indefinite article a before it and we say she was a company director before or when she retired. Also, another example, you can say, against her parents' wishes, she wants to be a journalist. You see, so the job mentioned in the example is journalist, and we are using the indefinite article a before it. We say she wants to be a journalist. Perfect. So when you talk about a person's job, most commonly you precede that job with one of the two indefinite articles a or n. That's point number 1. Point number 2. If somebody's title or somebody's position in a certain organization is unique, like there is only one person with that title or very few people with that title, you can use either the before the title, or you can just use zero article, which means that you don't employ any articles in your sentence. I'm talking here about a person's job that's unique. There is only one person in the company or in the organization with that title. For example, you say, she has been appointed the head of the company. There is only one head for the company. Okay, so that's a unique position or that's a unique title. So you either use the or you use zero article. So you can say she has been appointed head of the company, or she has been appointed the head of the company. All right, so this was point number 2. If the title or the job you're talking about is unique, you can either precede it with the, or you just employ a zero article incidence. But if you talk about a person's job in a certain organization, and this job is not unique, like there are many people who hold a similar position to theirs, we use a or an. Okay, for example, you say, I am a production manager at Fiat. Fiat is the very famous car company or car manufacturer. So when you say in the example, I am a production manager, this means that there are more than one production manager. There are many production managers at Fiat in the company. So we use a or an before it. In our case here, because it begins with a consonant sound, p, we put a. So we say, I am a production manager at Fiat. Okay, so this is point number 3. So to talk about a person's job in general, use a or an. If somebody's job is unique, use the or zero article. If somebody's job is not unique, then you precede the job with a or an. Today I'm drinking coffee, not tea. Well, normally in English, if there is a proper noun, which is a name of a person or a thing, we don't precede it with any article. We use a zero article with it. So you cannot say, for example, the Spain. Yeah, you cannot say the Fiat. Yeah, you cannot say, for example, the London, because all of these are, you cannot say the Johnson or the Mark. Mark is a man's name. So you don't normally use articles before names or before proper nouns. But in the upcoming part of the lesson or of the video, I will be giving you some incidents in which you can precede a noun, a proper noun, or a name with an article, being the definite article the or the indefinite articles a or an. For example, you can use the before a noun, especially the name of a person. I'm talking here about a proper noun. When there are two people with the same name and you want to specify which one of the two people you're talking about. For example, two people are talking to each other. So one speaker says to the other, "No, that's not the Stephen Fraser I went to school with." So apparently these two persons are talking at cross purposes, which means that each one of them is talking about something and they think that the other person is talking about the same thing, but they are not, okay? So speaker A, for example, is talking about a person, a man called Stephen Fraser. And then the second speaker tells him, "No, that's not the Stephen Fraser I went to school with." So we are putting here the article the before the person's name, which is Stephen Fraser, because the speaker is trying to specify one person between two people. So the speaker is trying to make the idea clear to the other speaker that they are not talking about the same person. Speaker A is talking about one and speaker 2 is referring to another. So we can use here the definite article the before a proper noun, particularly a person's name. Also, you can put the before the name of a person if that name is preceded by an adjective that describes it. So if you have the proper noun, especially a person's name, and then before that person's name you have an adjective, you can put the before the adjective, okay? For example, you can say, the late Buddy Holly. So Buddy Holly is a dead person, and we are describing him with the adjective late, which means departed, which means not alive anymore. So you can put the before it and you say, the late Buddy Holly. You can say, the glorious Michael Jackson. So we are describing Michael Jackson here as a glorious artist, and we can put the before it, in this case before the name, because this name is described by an adjective. All right? So that's the second case in which you can put the before a name, a proper noun. Also, you can use the before a proper noun when that proper noun refers to the name of a family as a whole. And the most famous example for that is the name of the famous cartoon, The Simpsons. So, Simpsons, that's the name of the family as a whole. So you can put the before it. Another example, you can say the Robinsons, that's the name of the family, the Robinsons are away this weekend. They are not here, they have gone away, okay? So this is the third use of the before the name of a person, and particularly here the name of a family. All right, so can we use a or an before a proper noun or before the name of a person? Actually, you can. And this happens when this name represents an example of an excellent quality. Like this person represents the epitome of a certain field or a certain industry. I'll give you an example to highlight that. Carlos plays tennis very well, but he will never be a Roger Federer. Well, Roger Federer represents the epitome of tennis, of men's tennis. In my opinion, he's the best tennis player in the history of tennis, and that's the opinion of many people, not only me. Well, so we are talking here about a man, a young man or a boy named Carlos. So we say that Carlos plays tennis very well, but he will never be a Roger Federer. So we are putting here a before the name of a person, that's Roger Federer, because Roger Federer is an exemplification, is a representation of the excellent quality in tennis. All right? By the way, you can also use zero article in this example. So you can say Carlos plays tennis very well, but he will never be Roger Federer, or he will never be a Roger Federer. You can do both. Also, you can use a or an before a person's name if you don't know the person yourself. So if this person is new to you, like you have never met them before, you don't know them, you can put a or an before their name. For example, you say, Dr. Smith is here for you. This means that you know Dr. Smith. That's why you're saying their name without any articles before it. But when you say, there is a Dr. Smith on the phone, you see, a Dr. Smith. So we're putting the indefinite article a before the name of the person, Dr. Smith. That's because you have never heard of this person before. You don't know him. You've never met him before. So you say to one person, like a secretary talking to her manager or to her boss, and she tells him, there is a Dr. Smith on the phone, which means that the secretary or the speaker doesn't know who Dr. Smith is exactly, and she has never met him before. The last point I want to talk about in today's lesson is about using the before superlatives. Well, the most common convention here is to employ the definite article the with superlatives. For example, you say, he is the finest young player around at present. You see, the finest. Finest is a superlative. And we are going to have a lesson about comparatives and superlatives later on this channel. So when you say finest, that's a superlative, you need to use the before it. So you say he's the finest young player around at present. That's the normal convention, to use the with superlatives. However, in conversations, in daily spoken informal English, you can remove the before a superlatives if the superlative doesn't have a noun or a noun phrase after the superlative. Let me give you an example. That's a mini dialogue between two speakers. A mini dialogue between two speakers. Why did you decide to stay in that hotel? So that's speaker 1 or speaker A talking. Why did you decide to stay in that hotel? So speaker 2 responds or answers or replies by saying, it was cheapest. That's the end of the sentence. Cheapest. There is no noun after it. There is no noun phrase. He didn't say, it was the cheapest hotel or the cheapest place to stay in. No, he didn't say that, or they didn't say that. But they said, it was cheapest only. Because the superlative adjective here is not followed by a noun or a noun phrase, it's optional to use the. By the way, you can still use the. So you can say it was the cheapest, or you can say it was cheapest. So the point I'm trying to make here is that normally with superlative adjectives, we use the. We precede the superlative adjective with the. However, in informal contexts, you can omit the, you can leave it out if there is no noun or noun phrase after the superlative adjective, like the example we have just mentioned when the speaker said it was the cheapest or it was cheapest. And as you can see, there is no noun or noun phrase after the superlative adjective. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, interact with the videos, leave down in the comment box any comments you might be interested in, and make sure that you share the video with your friends and family members and anyone who might be interested in English grammar. Thank you very much, my friends, for your attentive listening today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye for now.